Hello and welcome to Misadventures episode 36. I'm doing the 3 and the 6 with my fingers right now, and I'm having a very difficult time because I've always had a difficult time with that. But welcome, and I know it's been a few months. Thank you for tuning back in. I appreciate that. I've been trying to figure out how I could do a video podcast because a few episodes back I had a video podcast, but I've been having a lot of trouble here with how the room looks and my camera and just how everything's turning out. So I'm hoping in the new year to have some new video podcasts coming out. So stay tuned for that. Also, I just ignore that crackling in the background. I have these plastic covers on the window because there's like small crevasses that are open, so we will be hearing some outside noise, just a little bit, maybe a beep here, a skirt there, and the plastic on the windows. So just to give you a heads up of what's happening here. So yeah, I'm actually living in New York now. I sort of kind of happened where I didn't really know what was happening, and I'm living out here now, so which is awesome. I was in New Jersey, and I go back to New Jersey back and forth, but I'm actually in New York full-time now. Long Island, not Short Island, Long Island. So, yeah, I'm out here. Yeah, that's pretty new. And since I'm out here, I've been, trying to do some things that I've been saying I want to do, and I haven't been doing. So, I've been doing kickboxing. I don't know if I mentioned that in my old podcasts. I know I've mentioned them a long time ago, saying that I want to do kickboxing, whatever. But now I'm doing it like weekly. I didn't go last week because I had a small cold. So I didn't go. But I've been going weekly, and it's literally like boot camp. Like, I've done kickboxing in the past, but this is like, you're going to do like 20 push-ups, and then you're going to run, and then you're going to roll around, and then you're going to throw your hands up in the air, and it's like nonstop for an hour. And I've never done anything nonstop for an hour when it comes to working out. But I don't give up, so I will. Might not, I might not look like a quarterback or something out there, but I'm getting the job done. So, yeah, it's crazy. Like, I never knew I could do all that. And I'm doing sit-ups, push-ups, and now, like, I would joke about this in the past, like, don't mess with me because I have the hands. Now I have the hands and the feet. Got the hands and the feet. I know how to jab, cross, uppercut, slap somebody in the ears, and then knee 'em, real hard, knee 'em. That's a street technique that my instructor, Pasquale, is teaching me, is that you see somebody on the street, and if they're going to do something, you slap them real hard in the ears. Real hard. And then they're going to be like, oh my, like, even if it didn't, that's going to hurt. If you slap somebody real hard in the ears with open hands, you slap them. Or fist, that could work too. First of all, it's going to hurt. And then they're going to be like in shock. Like, did I just get slapped in my head with 2 hands? Like, honestly, if somebody did that to me, I'd be more like in shock that they did that. And then while they're thinking about, wow, did somebody just like slap me on both sides of my head? Knee to the stomach. Knee to the groin. Kick. Punch. Side punch. Yeah, so like I said, I hope it never happens. But if I get into a kerfuffle, I'm gonna watch out because I'm prepared now. I thought I was prepared in the past. I'm absolutely prepared now. I know how to use my fist, my left fist, my right fist, my left foot, and my right foot, and my legs. I know how to use it. So, and I have fantastic kicks. That's what my instructor told me, that I have awesome kicks. And that bag friggin' reverberates when I kick it. So, I wouldn't want to be the one. I wouldn't want to be the one that steps up to Mary Grace. I wouldn't want to be the one. So, but yeah, I'm learning all these awesome punches and kicks, and I just love it. I feel very strong. And like I said, I could put somebody in I haven't learned chokeholds, but now I feel confident to put somebody in a chokehold and just, knock them out and they're laying there, only if I'm provoked. I'm not saying that I'm going to go up to people and start putting them in chokeholds, but I would feel comfortable doing it now, where in the past I'd be like, how would I do this? Now I know. Now I know. I feel very comfortable with my physical being, with my body now. Like, I never, like, even kicking, I used to just kick straight. And I was like, this feels weird and doesn't look right. You know, I would just, like, kick my foot, like a dancing kick. And now I know you have to turn your leg and then side kick. You know, like, you're kicking on your side, like where your shin is. And you're extending your leg and your shin. You're extending it. So that's what's happening here. So like I said, well, it's not good now because I pretty much told everybody what my plan of attack is. So, but I'm learning every day, so you never know what I'm going to do. I could do a double kick. I could do a punch to the chin. I know how to do these things now. But yeah, I love it. Like, you know, I don't like running on the treadmill. I actually hate running. You know, in grammar school and high school, I was forced to run, you know, in classes and stuff like that, forced, and I hate it. And I would always find ways, like, we had to do for, like, when I was in softball, we had to, like, run up all the steps in the high school, and I would, like, run up half amount of the steps and then just wait till everybody, like, the horde of girls came back again, and then I would just jump into the horde with them, like I was running the 10 times around the school or whatever. And another time in gym, like, you know, we had to run like 15 miles or something like that in the gym. It wasn't that. It was maybe 2 miles. I don't know. But it was difficult. And we had to do it for the state test, which is, your girl never did the state test legitimately. I always found little ways to add a few numbers here, you know, give somebody a Snicker bar and hope they change their mind, you know, stuff like that. Nah, I was actually cool. So, cool with everyone. That's what I mean. But where I could say just, you know, add another 20 to this number. But back to what I'm saying. So we had to be running around the gym and all that. And I ran right through the center of the gym to, like, cut my lap in half. And then my teacher, my instructor, whatever they call the gym, the PE, whatever, she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know, I got lost. And then she believed it. And I, like, I tried to put on the stupidest face I could and then just, like, stared blankly into space. And she let me go on that. But who knows? In other schools, I probably would have been put in jail for that. So, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so I'm just loving it. I'm getting in great shape. I feel good. I feel confident. Like I said, you know, if a muscular man came up to me and said, let's go, I'll be ready. I'll be ready. So that's what's going on, and I love it. I've always wanted to really try to do it seriously, and I love it, and I got, like, another 10 classes, so next thing you know, I'm going to be doing backflips and, like, doing it off my head. Like, doing, like, or doing, you know, doing a triple double, sandwich, triple double, you know, front flip, and I land in a split. That's what's going to happen soon. So just wait for it. I also did I went to the Thanksgiving Day parade. And that was, I've always wanted to do that too. Like, as a child, that's been on I have a bucket list that I'm creating. And I've always had a little bit of a bucket list, but I'm like, as I get older, I want, like, a large bucket list. And I want to start, like, knocking things off, because YOLO, you really only live once and you only die once. So get out there. So I went to the Thanksgiving Day parade, and I had to leave at like 4:30 in the morning, and didn't end up getting home till 1. So it was like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9-hour day. 9-hour day, give or take or give. And I'm lucky because I actually was in the front. I couldn't imagine being in the back, because even if you're behind one line of people, you can't really see because you got people's large heads. So I was in the front, and a bird dropped a gift on my shoulder. I'm happy it wasn't my head. And it's funny because the last time a bird shattered on me, it was on my birthday last year. So I guess it was good luck, but that happened, and I also got shitted on at the parade. Because it was sitting right up there with his buddies, and I was like, this doesn't look promising, this whole setup. And next thing you know, some girl behind me, a bird pooped on me. And, like, what am I going to do, lady? You know, what do you want me to do? Swing it around? Throw it at Mariah Carey? Which she didn't even pass by. So, she's a drama queen. She didn't even pass by. She did the little thing for TV, and then she skedaddled. So, which is fine. Like, I don't really care about her anyway, but I'm just giving you the truth. You know, I was like a reporter that day. I was on the front line there. So, yeah, so I was in the front, and that's the only way to do it. And then I had like a little stool. I was sitting on that. There's no way I could have lasted. Like back in the day when I used to work 8 or 9 hours right on my feet, 10 hours even on my feet with, of course, a lunch break. But I was able to do that. And when I went to EDC, Miami in 2018, I remember I didn't eat or use the bathroom for like 12 hours straight because me and my friends were in the front. So we wanted to keep our spots. And I can't do that now. Like, I don't know how I did that. It's just hard for me to stand on my feet. I think I have some problems with my heels, honestly. I have to get that checked out. Not my heels, like going out to the club heels. The heels on my feet. I think there's something wrong. Maybe I have, what do they say? Not cankles. I had a little bout with cankles before. Flat feet, maybe. I don't know if I have flat feet. I don't know. I look at them, they don't look flat to me, but who knows? So I got to get that checked out. But I could never stand on my feet like that. So I'm happy I had a little bit of a respite. And there were like people laying down. There was some lady that like fell asleep in her food. There was like children hiding under blankets, laying on the street. Somebody like sleeping, standing up. And I wanted to like poke them, but I said I'm not going to do that. So who knows if they're taking karate or they're taking kickboxing as well. But yeah, like I said, it's just so worth it to be in the front. And I saw Bluey Kazooie, whatever his name is. There's like a blue dog. I saw him. I love SpongeBob. That was cool. That was one of my favorites. The Minion was cool. My favorite was Goku. That was the best. Just so cool looking and so big that balloon is. And just seeing them up close, it is really cool. I'm trying to think if there was something interesting that happened. The parade was really, like I said, once in a lifetime. It's cool. I don't think I need to do that again because it's just a huge hassle. I did enjoy it, and if I had kids, I would take them. But it's just a huge hassle. Like, you got to be there early, and you wait like 2.5 hours before the thing even starts. And you wait an hour for them to get to your area. That was really cool. And then I saw my boy Grimace. I saw Grimace, and they had him in like, Grimace, if you don't know, he's that big purple potato or whatever he is from McDonald's, and they had him shoved in a, the red slipper that clown wears from McDonald's, what he wears, that big shoe slipper, and then they shoved Grimace in the back, and I was like, Grimace, Grimace, Grimace! I was screaming for Grimace because he was turned around, but you could tell, like, there was something wrong, maybe conspiracy, there was something wrong. He was shoved in there where he couldn't even turn around. Like, his whole body took up the whole spot where he couldn't even turn around. So I couldn't even see Grimace's face. And it's disappointing. Because if Grimace is around, I'd like to see him. Screaming for him. And it was just, he put up his little purple fingers or purple palm. I don't even know if he has fingers. He didn't even turn around. But that was awful. And then they had like a Muppet house that passed by on wheels. And it was like a off-color teal Kermit. I remember that, and I was like, Kermit! And he, like, looked at me and waved his felt hands my way, so that was pretty cool. And that was pretty much all for that. Oh, yeah, and then right after the parade ended, there was some guy screaming. Like, I mean, it's New York, so, I mean, there's going to be some kind of shenanigan. You can't escape shenanigans there, really. You're going to find yourself in a shenanigan. So everybody cleared out, and people were going the wrong way when they know it's the other way to get out. Come on, what are all you guys doing? And there was 2.7 million people there. Don't quote me, but it was something like 2.7 million. And it felt like that. It was just, so many people now. Everywhere you go, you could barely move around. I mean, New York's usually bad, but it just felt like, wow, there's a lot of people here right now. So yeah, there was some guy across the street ranting and raving, and he had a backpack, and he was swinging it around. He was like, hey! He was like calling somebody across the street, yo, hey! And, there was nobody responding. So I was like, I got to make a little U-turn around in this area. So I got out of there. But I was like, he's across the street, though. And there's nothing for me to say. I walked back to my vehicle. That's what I did. So that was cool. Like I said, though, I thought it was a cool once-in-a-lifetime type of thing. I love the Pillsbury Doughboy. He is also, he's old looking though. Like he got some of that liposuction or something, or that the fillers, because his lips, they were all like sunken in because he's one of the oldest balloons. But he's awesome, like that little white piece of dough. Precious, honestly. He has like a cute, hi, I'm the Pillsbury Doughboy. Like he's precious. Like how do you not like that thing? So, but yeah, his mouth was all like sunken in and stuff like that. I guess they didn't refurbish him, but you know what I mean? This whole society wants to get rid of the old. Keep the old. You know, we don't need to get rid of all the old for the new. We can keep some old. And it's awesome. Like, I love seeing that little guy. He makes delicious cookie dough. So that's that. I'll move on because sometimes I just continue and it's like, what am I even talking about? So I went to Pittsburg. I went to Pittsburgh this weekend. You know, Thanksgiving passed a few weeks ago. But Pittsburgh, I went this weekend and I went to a Comic-Con. It's called the Steel City Comic-Con. I went with a friend and he was getting Moxley, the wrestler, on his AEW belt and the Undertaker on the WWE belt. Moxley was cool because, you know, the person getting the autograph and I'm just, you know, hanging around. So I'm like, let me go in there. So Moxley was cool, and Undertaker, I wanted to get, like, a video of him doing the rest in peace and, like, sticking his tongue out and, like, rolling his eyes, whatever. And they're like, no. You can't be taking videos like that. And I was like, it's for the vlog. And they were like, no. And then he just, like, looked at me. So that wasn't a great... Left a bad taste in my mouth. That's what it did. It left a bad taste in my mouth. But right after that, I wiped the bad taste out. And Mary Grace is on the move. But yeah, that was not a pleasant interaction with The Undertaker. So... 'tis what it is, right? So yeah, but other than that, those weren't the highlights. There are actually other highlights, and you know, highlights meaning like lowlights. Well, I'm gonna take a sip of water. So for all you ASM folks, I don't feel self-conscious about the way I swallow water, but I do. I feel like when other people swallow water, it's silent. But for me, it's like like in the cartoons, like why I don't know if I should be hearing that. So back to what I was saying. Oh yeah, in Pittsburgh, I got gassed out. I got absolutely gassed out. There was somebody, I don't know, and I'm not making fun of nobody, and I guess everybody stinks once in a while, but I got gassed out. The scent of somebody goozled me to the ground, where it was like, you know, like in the SpongeBob episode where he ate the onions and like he's like, and like the scent like travels. That's what it was. It was like woke me up even. And the worst part is, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not, you know, I don't know the person's name. I'm not going to put anybody on blast or say, oh, this is what this person, you know, who knows why that stench came about, but like choked me out. Like I had limited time before I was going to pass out. And then, so it got me once. And then best believe, got me twice. I got I got the same scent again somewhere else. Goozled me. You know, when you're not ready for that, you're just, you know, I don't know what to say. This isn't the first time this has happened to me. I've been in many situations where like a stench of something, I don't know, permeates just my general area where it's inescapable for me. So that happened. But oh, and also there were people like, you know, like the cosplay stuff I never really understand. Like I like dressing up for Halloween. I do. It's fun. I've dressed up as Uma Thurman in Pulp Fiction. I've dressed up as Eleven from Stranger Things. I've dressed up as a hot dog. You know, I like to have fun on the holiday, on Halloween. You know, I dress up. I like that. It gives me, you know, one excuse to dress up, and that's fun, and I could get, like, a nice costume together. Next year I want to be Trinity from The Matrix, but I needed to get a leather coat, and time was going by too fast, and my funds were low, so I wasn't able to do anything this time. But next year I want to do that. But I wouldn't want to dress up, you know, just to be around other people dressed up. I never understood the cosplay stuff. You know, but to each their own. You know, I don't understand it. I don't get it at all, honestly. I think sometimes it's a little odd, depending on what you dress as. If you dress as something that makes sense, you know, if, like, you know, you're going to a Walking Dead convention, you're dressing up as Herschel or something, that makes sense. You know, if you're going to go to a piñata festival, you're dressing up as a piñata. But if you're going to one of these things and you're dressing up as something like a furry, I think those things are very odd. Like, I've seen documentaries on those things. Well, not a documentary. I was watching some show on Vice, and they did, like, a small tidbit. And I don't know, like, if you're gonna pretend to be, like, if you feel like you wearing that outfit makes you that thing, that's where, like, the line gets crossed for me. If you're just doing it for fun, and you want to win a contest, or you just like dressing up, you know? I mean, you're not hurting anybody, honestly. So, I'm not like, oh, I'm so anti-cosplay. I don't get it, honestly. I don't. But, like, this is where the line is crossed. You could dress up as a potato. You could dress up as Abraham Lincoln. Really, it doesn't bother me. Do what your little heart desires. You're not hurting anybody. And you're not dressing up like it on the street. You're going to a Comic-Con. That's fine. Whatever. That's fine. I personally wouldn't, but that's fine. But, the things like the furries, where if you're going to pretend to be an animal or make the animal noises, I think that's pushing the line for me. And I think that's crossing into odd territory for me. And I knew this one girl, like I said, let me just, I want to clarify. Anything that's relating to the Comic-Con, or, you're just having fun. But there's things where it's like, now you're pretending to be this character. This is where it's transcending for me. This is where you lose me. So, the furries, right? And then, I don't know. That just made me think of this time in college. There was this girl. We had like a huge snowstorm where it's categorized as a blizzard in New Jersey. And we were in class, and the teacher's like, oh, did anybody do anything interesting this weekend? And I wish she didn't. I wish she didn't answer this. And I was going to answer, but then her answer just put whatever answer I had to shame. No matter what I did that weekend was not going to be as interesting as what she did that weekend. So this girl was like, oh, I went larping in the forest. And it was silent, just like how I left it silent for like 3 seconds right there for dramatic effect. It was silent. And she was like, I was larping. And then I was like, what's larping? And then she was like, live action role play in the forest. So she was dressed like Camelot or Camelota. And like, you mean to tell me there was a gaggle of people up in the forest on the mountain during the blizzard dressed up as Rapunzel and Camelot, reenacting scenes from that mythological book? Or if it wasn't mythological, I don't know. I don't know nothing about Camelot or Rapunzel. So you mean to tell me you're reenacting scenes during the blizzard? You could have died. So, and then see, this is where it gets, you're not just dressing up and you're not saying, hear ye, I have a proclamation. You're not just saying that or doing a curtsy. Now you're live action role playing. It went from cosplaying, dressing up and acting, to now you're kissing each other, or you're doing scenes where you're punching each other in the mouth, you're slapping each other in the ears. This is where it crosses the line for me. And that you were willing to risk your life to LARP, to live action role play. This is where are the boundaries? Where are the lines? If you're in that territory, I don't understand. I don't. I mean, you couldn't pay me to dress up as Toadstool to go during the blizzard of 2016. You couldn't pay me enough to go out there to sacrifice my life to be kissing Prince Charming on a rock. There's no way. So, honestly, bless your soul. If you're doing the LARPing, you just be safe out there. Don't be going out in storms. In the blizzard of 2016, one of the largest blizzards to ever hit New Jersey. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was a huge blizzard. I couldn't even start my car that day. I mean, my car doesn't really start on some days, actually, as it is. So, but I don't know. I wish in a way I was a gopher on the hill at that time to see what was going on. I wish, because there was no flies on walls there. But I wish I was a gopher in the hill. Came out of my hole, see what was going on, then went back in my hole. Or maybe I'm thinking I would want to see what was going on, but maybe I don't. Maybe I was a gopher who should have just stayed in his hole if I was there. Maybe I wouldn't want to. My two little gopher eyes probably would have seen things I should have never been seeing. I would have went right back in my hole earlier than I thought. So. So my feelings on that. Like, I usually just continue. I just got to cut it off at a certain point here. I saw Edgar Allen Poe and his wife. My boy EAP. I even visited his house in Baltimore. And, I don't know, when he lived there was probably, like, people walking around with candlelights and top hats. Yeah, he lives in the hood now. And now there's a lot of shenanigans going on by old Edgar Allan Poe's abode, let me tell you. But yeah, so what I was saying is, yeah, I ran into Edgar. Like, I saw these two, like, not medieval, whatever, the Gothic era people. You know, I saw people wearing black, and, like, there was a girl with a mustache, a painted mustache, not a real mustache. But I was telling my friend, I was like, that's Edgar Allan Poe right there. And I know my stuff. Like, I know my Charlotte Brontes and my Edgar Allan Poe, especially Edgar Allan Poe. I know my Edgar Allan Poe when I see one. So I was like, that's Edgar Allan Poe. And then I asked him, I was like, what are you guys supposed to be? Because I was so intrigued by this for some reason. I don't even, I've read his literature, but I don't, like, have his books sitting in my house. But I was, like, intrigued. I was like, what are you guys dressed as? I said, are you guys Edgar Allan? They're like, we're Edgar Allan Poe. And I was like, I am just amazing. Because they didn't even have the fluffy side hair or nothing. It was just, I said, Edgar Allan Poe. And it was a woman dressed as Edgar Allan Poe, and then it was a woman dressed as his wife. And I took a photo with them, and it was awesome. Like, that had nothing to do with the Comic-Con. But that was an awesome costume. So they get a pass. That was awesome. You're going to dress as Edgar Allan Poe at a Comic-Con. That's great. And even if they did a little bit of the accent, that's fine. As long as when you leave there, it's like, all right, I'm going to rip this mustache off and this wig, and I'm going to go to Wendy's. That your normal life ensues, that's fine. So that's where I'm at with that. But yeah, I met Edgar Allan Poe. And that was pretty awesome. I also saw where Edgar Allan Poe died. So, not to be morbid, but I saw his house and then where he passed away. And in that area where he passed away is actually, like, a nice area by the beach. It was, like, called the Last Horse Saloon or something like that, but... Yep, so those are my Edgar Allan Poe stories there. Oh, and then for Halloween, I know this is going back eons already, but, I haven't spoke to you guys in a while. So I'm happy to be back, but I wanted to tell you about, hopefully I'm not doing any spoiler alerts, but you're not really missing much. I saw the last Halloween movie, because every day of Halloween I watched a Halloween movie to get into the Halloween spirit, even though not really Halloween spirit, but I like Halloween movies in general, so I said, let me watch one every day, and, like, new ones, try to watch a lot of new ones, and I watched the last Halloween movie, and spoiler alert, so if you didn't see it, this means I'm going to talk about it. You're not missing anything, though, honestly. It's probably good if I spoil it for you if you didn't see it, to be honest with you. Save yourself 2.5 hours of your life. That mine are just, they're gone forever, wasted on that movie. So, you know how I feel about Jamie Lee Curtis. I loved her in the original, and everything downhill. Everything went downhill. I mean, it should have stopped decades ago. So, you know what's cool? If they're doing an epic fight and they take each other out. Or Jamie Lee Curtis goes. Because you wouldn't think she would. You would think he would, right? So, they have the majority of the movie, like 80% of the movie, it's this kid that is, like, obsessed with Michael Myers. And he does a whole bunch of accidental killings. And then he is killing people on purpose. And it's about him, and it's just awful. Like, I don't like that they did this little, like, henchman type of thing. I didn't like it. And then, so Michael Myers is old. Michael Myers is with my math, he's about 75 years old. So I know evil persists, and evil is in the spirit. I know that. I know that from Loomis. Evil never dies. I know. But he's 75 years old. So the vessel is not going to be able to kick really hard or punch really hard or run really fast. He's 75 years old. You mean to tell me he's like greased up? Nobody could get him? He slips out everybody's fingers? So it's hard for me to believe. The guy's 70 years old. 75 years old. No way he's punching somebody and they're flying across the room and breaking the wall. There's no way. So back to what I was saying. Like, I thought about that. Because I'm always thinking about stuff in movies. Like, how realistic would this be if this was in the real world? You know what I mean? Like, I can only lend my imagination so much. And if you're intelligent, you should be thinking about, wait, what if this was in a real life situation? How would this work out? So in her too, Jamie Lee Curtis isn't running a marathon. She's 75 as well. So, like I said, they both should have been taken out by like a large wave or something. Not even anything to do with them fighting each other. Maybe take them out just separately in a different way. But whatever. The end of the movie, listen to this here. All right. So the whole town gathers together like in a mob. And they're like, death to Michael Myers, whatever. So then listen to this. You're not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. But believe it, because it's true. And I don't lie on the podcast. The whole town puts him up in the air, and they crowd surf him into a wood chipper. And they kill him that way. And the wood chipper, like, chips him up into a bunch of bits. They don't show that, but that's what would happen if, you know. So he went to the wood chipper, and he's dead, supposedly. But now back to what Loomis said. Evil never dies. So his spirit can just go into somebody else. And this franchise is never going to end. I'm telling you, in 20 years from now, you're going to have Michael Myers returns for the 5th time. You know, just, I don't know what you could do to end it. Maybe just, you know, I don't know. But it's just, that movie, it really dampens the work as a whole. Where maybe if they were stopped a long time ago, I would have more respect for the movies. Now it's just like, what is going on? This needs to stop. And I know they said it's the end, but I'm telling you, when I'm old and gray, there's going to be a new Michael Myers movie. But yeah, so the whole crowd surfing scene, it was actually, the way it looked was comical. Like, they're crowd surfing this man into a wood chipper. Like, you never think Michael Myers would be crowd surfing. But that happened. So, I also went to Vermont and Maine in this time. I wanted to see a moose. That was one of my goals. I didn't see no moose, no meese. And if you like LARPing in the forest, Maine or Vermont is the place for you. If you like LARPing in the forest, Maine or Vermont is the place for you. So yeah, there's a lot of like forest land. I was hoping to see like a hedgehog or something like that. I saw no wildlife really. No wildlife. A barracuda maybe. Supposedly Loch Ness. The Loch Ness Monster. It's spelled Loch. Loch Ness Monster. The Loch Ness Monster is supposed to be that's where he's supposedly located. And there's like a pond where it's, you know, like a river or a lake that's famous for him. And I just didn't have time to go. But I would love to sit there for a few hours and just see if I could see that ancient dinosaur. You know, they say it's a myth, but I wouldn't doubt anything. The only thing is, if Nessie was alive, it's dead now. I mean, that was like in the 1700s or whatever they saw Nessie the last time. So even if it had children, with what other Loch Ness? There's only supposedly one Loch Ness. But, I mean, imagine that. Like, I do imagine that if I was sitting there and I actually saw, like, you know, the dinosaur, like a bronchosaurus's head, his head come out of the water and, like, look at me. I never fainted in my life. I only almost fainted in one of my kickboxing classes, but that's because I didn't drink water, not because I wasn't tough or I wanted to pass out. It was because I just didn't have enough water. And you can't underestimate water. So, just don't be thinking I'm passing out in my kickboxing classes, because I'm not. Only one time it almost happened, and it never happened again. So, somebody almost got into an accident on the highway here. But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so if I saw the bronchosaurus, right, come out of the water and look at me, I wouldn't pass out, but I'd be thinking about it. And my soul would probably leave my body. I wouldn't believe it. I would wave to it. Like in the movies, like they have like, you know, always the monster is portrayed to be like an evil, awful thing. And it's like a child would wave to it and it'll like smile at them. So that's what I would do. I would just wave and say, hey, Nessie, like I'm not here to like capture you, to hunt you down. I'm here to just, you know, see that you exist. And that's good enough for me. And my heart is warm from that. And if he like winks at me and then I walk away. And then like low orchestral music plays, like, you know, Discovery, like Discovery type of music, and then like I'm smiling and then it like fades to like black and white, and you see Nessie go back in the water, and like I saw what I had to see, and it was a wonderful thing, and he didn't kill me, and I wasn't there to hurt him. I was just there to see a beautiful beast. It was beauty that killed the beast. So, yeah, I mean, I was hoping to see Loch Ness or a moose. Worst case, a moose. I didn't even see that. I saw signs for meese, but no moose. So, yeah, and then so they had like a rock quarry, and that's where they get like all the granite, and they cut up the granite to make tables and stuff like that, and stones for the cemetery. Saw that. I ate delicious cheese. Didn't mean to put cheese right after that. But they had like a farm, Sugar Bush Farm, and then I got a delicious cheese and some maple syrup, and I was at the samples, and they were giving me lots of samples. I know people sort of kind of give up on samples after, the thing happened, the virus happened, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to have samples anymore, but me, I'll be the first one and the last one at the samples table. I hope to see samples. They sort of it's like a lost art now, samples. And it's sad. That's the end of an era, and hopefully it's not. I still see, some people holding on, giving out samples, but never like I used to see. Like at Sam's Club or whatever, there would be samples agog. There would be samples everywhere. I mean, I one time saw a lady like with a bag full of samples. She was taking them home to her family. So, I mean, I want my kids to be able to experience samples one day. So we can only hope. But if you show interest, it keeps this dying art alive. So I'm interested, and I'll always be there. I slapped my chest, and I did like a 1-up for samples. Oh, and I guess this will be my last thing I'll talk about, because there's no reason for me to be talking for like 2 hours. I want to have a nice, shorter episode, because it's been some time since I've put up an episode. So just to, get your bearings back with your girl. So, you could be like, oh, I'm not in the mood for an hour and a half, but, 35 minutes to see what's going on in her life. I think this is a perfect time. I usually just talk to my heart's content, but I've actually got through the topics at a good speed here. So I had my birthday party in New York. My birthday, September 16th. I'm a Virgo. I have to drink some more water, so prepare yourselves. Wow. So yeah, I had my birthday party in New York City. I went with some friends. It was really awesome. I think I went in October though. Yeah, I went in October because that was the earliest I could go down to Jersey to then go to the city, because I was going with some friends. So, but I'm a Virgo to the T. I'm not like one of those really, like, I read the horoscopes and I read the traits of the people that have certain signs, and I line up with the Virgo, absolutely. But I'm not one of those where like, oh, he's a sag, so I can't be friends with him, or I can't have a child with this Aquarius right here because he's a water sign and I'm an earth sign. It don't work. I don't think in those ways. I just think like, oh, I fit this perfectly. Great. And I'm moving on. So yeah, and we went to like one of the oldest Chinese restaurants in the city. I forgot the name of it. It was like the something house, I think it was. Went there and it was cool. It was like you were like in China. Like they had all like the old China from China. But yeah, I love seeing that stuff, and just the decor and stuff. Like these people that run the place are from China, so they're bringing like how the way they would decorate and serve food, and I just love it. It was awesome. And it's like 100 years old or something like that. And the bathroom looked like it was 100 years old though. And I almost nearly slipped into the toilet because somebody left some kind of liquid on the floor. So that almost happened. But it was just cool. It was like really like I was in China, honestly, because it wasn't just like everything was decorated in the way if you were in China. It was awesome. It wasn't just like, like a Chinese calendar on the wall. It was for real. Like they had all like antiques and stuff like that on the wall behind the bar. It was just really awesome. So I got dumplings. We got like $100 worth of food because they do like small plates. And I ate a dumpling, and like my friend was teaching me how to eat a dumpling, and then she like just swallowed it whole. So I don't think that's the way to eat a dumpling, but she's Asian, so I trusted her. So I bit. I mean, like she swallowed one whole, and then she like bit one off a little bit, and then she like ate the juice from it and then ate it. And then I tried to do that, and it got all over my pants. So I had a dumpling explosion all over my pants. So, and it couldn't be on the knee area. It had to be in like a very questionable place. So yeah, so I ate those dumplings. Those are delicious. And we went to like, they have speakeasies, supposedly speakeasies, like the secret clubs. Like, I was worried if I had to say like a password like blue tamale or something like that to get in, and there was nothing. It was just like there was this one place, it was like a door of an old fridge that had like like a Coca-Cola fridge, and then you open it and then there's a bar in there. And then we went, and then the lady ran up to us and she's like, oh, you guys want a table? And like, you got a table, they're gonna make you pay something. So she went to go get like the place settings, then we ran out. So, I mean, we didn't want to do it when she set up the place settings, so we left before then, but we ran out, because it's like, I saw what I gotta see. I got into the secret club, and I left. I don't need to sit there and pay $40 for a drink, so I left. I'm being honest about the podcast. I have to be honest. I wouldn't want to be stuck there, so I left. And then this was pretty cool. We went to Roosevelt Island, and that's cool to see. I've never done that. And they had a whole old, like, smallpox. If somebody had, one of the diseases of the times, they would put them on the island so they wouldn't spread it. And that's really awful. Like, I was sitting there just thinking about that, how awful that is. And then you're just stuck there, and, like, who knows about the maltreatment that was going on. And, I mean, if you've never been, it's a cool island to be on, because you're like, how is this New York? And it's just weird. It's like a little extension of New York, but there's not many people there. It's pretty cool. So I did that, and we got a bunch of food, tried to do karaoke, and trying to do karaoke in the city on a weekend is, like, nearly impossible. And then they want to, like, say, oh, well, if you buy a bottle, you get a free hour. The bottle's, like, $400 or something like that. It's ridiculous. So, we did the tram. That was pretty much the highlights. And then we just, walked around. We went into different bars and stuff like that. It was fun. And this was probably my favorite part. We did, like, a reservation for a rooftop, and my friend did it like 2 seconds before he got on the line, and the guy came up to us and he was like, when did you make your reservations? Yesterday? And then my friend was like, no, like 2 seconds ago. And we thought he was going to let us in because he was asking about reservations from yesterday. And he was like, all right, come on up. And it was just like really cool. Like, and they put you go in an elevator, and then you're all the way up to the top floor. And like, I've been to rooftops. I've been onto rooftops in different places. Especially like Nashville. I went to every bar they had there. Me and my friend, we went, and we said we want to like go to everyone and see what they look like, what's going on. We went to everyone, and they're like known for rooftops, and it's just really nice and cool. I really loved being there. And who knows, maybe Tennessee's in my future. If I had a mustache, I'd be twirling it around right now. Or a monocle, I'd be just removing it and putting it back on my face. So, yeah, so we went to the rooftop, and we were like, oh, do you have to, like, pay to sit down? Because in New York, you have to pay to breathe, really. So they're like, no, if you don't sit at a table, you don't have to pay. Just get a drink and hang out, whatever. And then, so we were going to go to the bar, but then I'm like, the drinks are going to be at least $20. At least $20. And I don't even drink. I don't like drinking. I mean, if I'm out with my friends, I'm not even a social drinker. Just, for my birthday, if I want to drink, or we're all going out and I want to, once in a while, I will. And if I feel like drinking, which is very rare, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 times a year, I hate the taste of it, and then I feel sick after, so it's just not my bag. So I was like, I don't want to pay $20 for a drink. If it was like a delicious, like, strawberry daiquiri, I like the fruity drinks. Like, I'll drink those because it tastes less like alcohol and more like, candy or something like that. I like that. Or like Applebee's has like new $10 drinks, and they're really good because it's like a frozen drink and it's less alcohol and more fruity flavoring, whatever that is. So we're back on the rooftop, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to drink. And then my friend's like, yeah, I don't want to pay for a drink here either. Somebody passed me when I drink it, but I'm not paying for it. So we were like, I don't want to go to the bar. And it was like, there was a bunch of people sitting there, so we weren't going to just go there and ask questions when we weren't really interested. So we were like, let's sit at the tables and hang out until they catch us. You know what I mean? We just made sure we were sitting at the tables, resting our feet and just relaxing, and, taking a lot of photos and videos, you know what I'm saying, So, yeah, taking a lot of photos and videos. Like, I've been on this rooftop for, like, I've been hanging out here all night on my birthday. I was there for, like, 5 minutes. 5 whole minutes. And we were just sitting there taking photos and, like, looking fabulous with the skyline in the back. And anytime security would come by, we would just, like, stand up. And they would just, like, look at us quizzically. And then we would just sit right back down and, like, just hang out and take photos and videos. Yeah, and then, everybody was giving us the googly eye. And we were there, and we just, we spent enough time to rest up and to take a a gander at how, beautiful it was up there. And, I got, some photos that could be on magazine covers, and then I left. But yeah, I'm not going to get a little hot dog and a blanket for $50. I'm not going to get a shot for $40. I'm not going to get a roast beef sandwich for $65. So I went up there, I did my due diligence, and then I left. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to, if you were wondering. I bet if you know me personally, none of this is a surprise. And if you don't, this is the life in which I live. So I'm just so happy to be back. Thank you if you just started listening now or you've listened from the beginning. I appreciate it. I'm going to make these more frequent, especially with the new year. So like I said, thanks for tuning in with me. Hope you have a blessed day. And love you, homie. Love you, cousin. I even forgot my little tagline at the end. Love you, cousin. Peace out. Caw-caw.